Look, this is one of the problems that Home Affairs is faced with, that visas are regarded as homogeneous. And when they say backlog on visas, it's generalized, it's homogeneous, which is wrong. There are 17 types of visas, 17. And not all of them have got backlogs. Some are very easy to deal with. There are specific visas on which there's a backlog, but when people talk about backlog on visas, that will collapse the economy, that will deprive the country of skills and all that, they just throw them into one bag. And I want to emphasize there are 17 types of visas. We have got a corporate visa, a business visa, a scarce skill visa, a general work visa, a study visa, a spousal visa, permanent resident visa, etc., etc. So it will be good to understand where there is a backlog. Let me explain the most commonest ones which affect lots of people. The general work visa, for instance. I've just explained to you that we have got to go to a Department of Labor, prove to them, obtain a certificate, and come to Home Affairs. That might take time, because now you are working between two departments. It might take time. Then there is a critical skills visa, which people confuse with general work visa. That one, the Minister of Home Affairs is supposed to, every 4 years, determine what are the critical skills in the country and gazette those skills. If anybody comes with a letter of employment, of being offered a job, and when you check on the critical skill list, their qualifications appear there, you immediately give them a critical skills visa. So it can be a waste of time. I mean, it can take time. The backlog that people are talking about is mostly what we call dependency visas. It's mostly spousal visas. People who, and relative visas, people who say, I've got a spouse in South Africa, I want to join that spouse. And the reason that we've got a big backlog, that number is growing in leaps and bounds, especially, what do you call this? No, these ones where you just sign a contract with somebody. Eh? Yes, notarial. Ma'am, there's something called a notarial contract, where you just pick somebody and go to a lawyer who is regarded as a notary general and say, I'm staying with this person. Can you write a contract that we are staying together? They don't have to get married. They just stay together, write that contract, and they bring it to Home Affairs and say, on the basis of this, I want the spousal visa to stay in South Africa. Many of them need to investigation, and our fear is some have been investigated and found that there's no such a relationship. Mr. Mudiru knows that very well, and it's hard work, where immigration officials visit the address where it's given, that I'm staying with this person at this address. They find only one person. They go again in the afternoon, still find one person. Go again in the evening, maybe somebody's working, still find one person. And they repeat that for 6 months. They never found this second person here. And yet there's a notarial contract. So for us to issue a visa on that basis is actually scary. So it takes our time to investigate those. But be that as it may, we have put together a program. Number one, if you apply for a visa, maybe as an executive, at the same time, you'll realize that we issued the directive later to clarify that. At the same time, write the number of children or dependents that are under you so that we know them immediately up front. You shouldn't come here and give a visa and somebody come and apply later and say, no, I'm following that person who have given a visa. It must be issued all at the same time so there won't be any backlogs. Secondly, we have established, and I think we issued a media statement 2 weeks ago, something called a trusted employer scheme, because some of the delays on these visas is that they need lots of documents for your information, lots and lots of documents. We need to ascertain your qualifications, we need a police record, there are those who needed x-rays, etc. The Vulindlela report, which was commissioned by the president, recommended that we leave some of those things We left them like X-rays or like obtaining a police clearance for the past 5 years in all the countries that we have stayed in. We have left that one and confined it to only 12 months. Now the trusted employer scheme works like this. There are employers, not everybody, who will be in that scheme. And once you are in that scheme, we are saying we give the job of going to get all these requirements and documents. We give it to you as an employer. Go and get them. When you bring them here, we won't question you. We'll issue the visa. But please know that we're going to do random checks. And if one day we just discover that during our random check that you lied on any one document, we take away this is based on trust. We take away your status because you are no longer a trustworthy employer. You just have to go onto the queue and waste time like you used to do in the past. Now there were 106 companies. 106, yeah? Oh, 109. There were 109 companies that applied for this. We have given 68. And I'm sure your next question is, what are the criteria? We chose 5 criteria to give to these companies. 1, any company that invests more than 100 million or more. If you invest less than that, we can't put you on the trusted employer scheme. It's not worth it. You've got to come with a worthwhile investment. So it's 100 million. 2, that if you have to bring people from outside the country, in other words, putting up your staff or human resources, 60% must be South Africans. Because we want South Africans to get jobs. The other 40% you can bring from outside. Then we put you on the trusted employer scheme if you do that. 3, we want you to demonstrate to us that there will be technology transfer. That whatever knowledge you have in that investment, you extend that knowledge, you transmit it rather to South Africans so that they can have this knowledge and we don't have to rely from other countries. 4, we look at your BEE status in the country. And number 5, perhaps I should even have put it on the top. We don't give trusted employer scheme to any. We are looking at industries that will help the country. For instance, at the moment, the country is suffering from the energy problem. So we will say all the investors here, apart from a requirement that they must invest 100 million, we will immediately put them on the trusted employer scheme. If what they are doing is in energy and also infrastructure, not that the others are excluded, but those who are in energy and infrastructure are given a preference and priority over the others. So that's what we are doing, and we believe if things happen this way, there won't be a backlog. If there's a backlog, it will be the employer who causes that backlog. So there is a plan. We have also dedicated a certain number of people to work on only this. Now the part, which I must confess is going to be a problem, is the fraud of signing a document that you are staying with somebody when you are not staying with them. It's the fraud of bringing a fraudulent marriage. You are aware that we are dealing with lots of fraudulent marriages in Home Affairs. So all those are the ones that are setting us back and developing a lot of backlogs. If you look at this backlog, it grows every week because people are learning every week that, oh, I went to get it, I signed the contract, go to a lawyer. And so every week you are finding people who are coming with notarial contracts, etc. That is the part really that is going to cause us problems in the backlogs. But otherwise, the others, which are to deal with the economy, we don't think there should be a backlog in those because we believe we can resolve them. Thank you very much.